Hey guys, it's What's New and Good with T and D. Today we have a theme about our heart. And
pump up the
we
heart.
want to pump up the heart, not pump up the volume. Pump up the volume is pump up the heart. Heart.
Dance, dance, dance.
Right?
Yeah.
And we all do different things.
We do.
To keep our heart healthy.
Yes.
Right? What do you do to keep your heart healthy?
What's new and good with me and keeping my heart healthy and happy? It's just keeping it happy. Dee, I have to say, one of my favorite things to do is I love to jog. Some people will tell me that the only time they jog is if a bear is chasing them, which makes me laugh. But I do. It is something I really enjoy doing that for my heart. The other thing that I really enjoy doing is going to the beach. I feel that everybody needs to have that happy place, literally a place where they go, they sit, they can think. If they meditate or they just like quiet moments by themselves to have a happy heart. And of course, it's always the people that you have surrounding you.
And that would give me a sparkling, happy heart pounding at the beach.
What about you, Dee?
Well, I love the beach also. And like I said, it makes my heart happy. But I'm trying to do a few different things for my new and good. And I'm already in the health and fitness world, but I think I'm going to try a different type of exercise. I've debated CrossFit. I'm not.
Oh.
I know. I'm not a huge
the heart pumping,
fan.
right?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm ready to try something different and something new.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can do that together.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good thing.
Maybe we could do a triathlon, something really crazy.
No, there is this mud thing that they do. That's kind of I don't know if it's a
like
triathlon. I don't know, but you run and you do obstacle courses, and there's mud involved, and we could wear tutus and wear unicorn things because we so we're going way off. Yep. That would be really fun to do. We'll have to keep that in the back of our minds for maybe a show one day. But today we are so excited because we are talking about the heart. And Dee, we have a great guest that we're going to get to.
We do.
Yeah, and he is more... he literally knows about the heart. And when we come back here, we are going to have thoracic cardiologist, Dr. Jose Norberto. And he's going to share with us something that I'm so excited about. His dream and exactly why it was and what it is and how he became the thoracic cardiologist.
Right.
I can't wait. Yeah. We'll be back. You're watching What's New and Good with T and D.
Imagine your possibilities at Ohio University Lancaster-Pickerington. With over 250 majors to choose from, I get a great college education at half the price of other schools.
A lot of large campuses have huge class sizes where the professors don't even know you. At Ohio University, the classes are very small and the support you have is fantastic.
Campus life is awesome. There's always something to do between all the athletic events, student groups, and activities that you can always find your place in.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home to Ohio University Lancaster-Pickerington.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Hey guys, we're back. It's What's New and Good with T and D. As we mentioned before, we are going to be talking about the heart. And we have a pretty special guest today, Jose Norberto, who is a thoracic cardiologist, is here today to share his story and his dream about how he became a thoracic cardiologist.
Dr. Norberto, you are such an inspiring person, and I've gotten to know you with that the last few years. And I am so excited. But I think that most importantly, some folks may not know, what is a thoracic cardiologist?
Well, thank you for inviting me to this program. You two are very special because Tina, I have known you for a long time, and Darianne and I were friends in Facebook, for a long time now, actually. But obviously Lancaster is a very special town for me because this is the town where I have lived the longer in the United States. I have now 30 years in the United States, and 16 of them I lived here. So, but going back to your question and clarifying something, there are two routes that a medicine student, after they finish, can go. One route is becoming an internist, and the other route is becoming a surgeon. The internist is the first line of defense, meaning it's the gate to the healthcare system. It's where most people go first. And the internists have to deal with the whole body. So, it's like a general overview of the body. That's what they do. But then each organ has a specialist. Mm-hmm. So there is a specialist internist for heart, for lungs, for kidneys, for brain. Then there is the other counterpart, which is the surgeons. So there is a general surgeon that has overview of the whole body, and then there is a specialist for each one of the organs. In my case, I am a surgeon that became specialized in the heart.
Okay.
The heart and the lungs. I am a thoracic surgeon. Now, my counterpart in the internist world, it will be the cardiologist and the pulmonologist. So I think that should clarify the question. And the reality is that most patients go first. If it's for the heart, they go first to see a cardiologist.
Okay.
And then they will send it to us if necessary.
Okay. That's where they determine whether they need to have the heart surgery then.
Yeah, heart surgery, yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
And what got you into this field? Was this was always your dream? When did you first know that this is something that you wanted to do?
Well, actually, I consider myself very blessed in different aspects of my life, because even when I was a little child, I can't remember exactly what age, but probably 10, I knew that I was going to be a doctor. Wow. Even before that, I knew that I wanted to be a doctor, and that desire came up by just going with my father to the local hospital in the Dominican Republic. My dad was a dentist, so sometimes, I don't know if they didn't have babysit. I don't know why, but sometimes he would take me and put me on his desk while he was doing all kind of extractions on people's mouth, and I was just there, just watching, and I didn't like the sound of those molars getting down in those canisters. But when we go into the hallway and I saw him talking to other professionals that had a lab coat and have a stethoscope, I found them fascinating. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what, I think I'm going to be a doctor. And I was, I don't know, I was less than 10. But then I remember that when one of my cousins that was doing general surgery training in New York came to visit, he inspired me. I heard him talking about the training in the United States, and I said, you know what, I'm going to be a surgeon. So I was 10 at that point. But then how the dream came up for heart surgery is when I was 13. I was watching TV. There was a special program that they used to air every Saturday, and they presented one of the first cardiac surgery cases in the Dominican Republic. I remember it was a black and white and TV, and I saw that, and I was like, that's what I want to be, a heart surgeon. That was 13. And after that, I started preparing myself to come to America. I realized that the surgeon that I saw on TV operating was trained in the United States. So I said, I have to go to the United States then, So, that how it started. Then I went to University of Santo Domingo, and actually I met that particular doctor there, and we became friends, and he started mentoring me. And at that point, I started taking private lessons in English and preparing to come to the United States.
I was going to say, and how do you even begin at that young age to prepare yourself to become what you have become? Mm-hmm. I mean, did you make a list? Some folks have that list of different goals that they had to reach. Yeah. How
was
did you
it
get
all
there?
in here?
Well, did you just know what you had to do?
That's a very interesting question, because most students, most people say, okay, I want to be a doctor. They just want to be a doctor. They don't know exactly what kind of a specialty. Like I said before, there are so many specialties. You don't know how to choose. What are you going to like?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you go, I've seen this, sometimes you go to medicine school, and when you start rotating in the hospital, you start changing. Oh, I think that I like GI better than pulmonology. And some of my friends, some of my classmates, they used to just change all the time. I started with one dream. From the get-go, I wanted to be a cardiac surgeon. That's what I wanted to be, and I never changed through the whole career. And whenever I have a rotation that had to do with hearts or the chest, I just love it more. So I realized that the United States at that point was providing the best training because, a lot of things were happening in America.
Yeah.
Those were the times where transplants were happening, even though the first heart transplant was done in South Africa. But still, the guy who did the transplant in South Africa was trained in the United States. So everything was pointing me toward coming to the United States. Now, preparing to come to say, okay, I'm going to come to the United States, what do that mean? Mm-hmm. Well, at that point, there was a very famous, difficult test that we needed to take everybody that wanted to come to America. That was a filter. That was, to come to America, you have to pass that. And I tell you, it was the toughest test you can imagine. It was not easy.
Did you have to know English in order to pass that test, being that you're coming to America? Because
Yes.
that was another thing altogether.
Yes, and one of the problems was that I studied all my career. Even though I was taking English lessons, I studied my medicine in Spanish. So all my books was in Spanish. So suddenly I have to start getting books in English, which meant getting used to the abbreviation because everything was abbreviated.
Right,
All kind
American.
of different. I mean, I was okay to go to a movie theater and watch a movie and I could understand it. But when I started reading in English, I said, what is this? A lot of abbreviations. And I remember when I told my father that I wanted to start the process to prepare, and we got the books. We said, okay, I'm going to take the test in January, and we're talking about July. I had 6 months to prepare, and the first page, when I started, I remember the first page, it took me an hour for one page, and I was like, this is not going to work. But just persistent, I continued working hard, and I got used to it.
Yeah.
So, and I passed the test, and here I am.
Yay.
Well, and you're, something really special about one of the big tests that you took. Were you ranked very, very high?
See, we know
Can
a
you
little
tell
bit,
us
yeah.
about that? Because it's a huge accomplishment.
Well, I always have been a good test taker, from the get-go.
Not me.
And I remember that the first exam that I told you was the foreign medical graduate exam. That was the filter to come to America. And I scored very decent actually. A lot of people have to take that test 2 and 3 times. I took it once, I passed. Then when we came to the United States, I got a position for general surgery, but I only got for 2 years. That's what Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. offered me. And to do general surgery and to follow that with cardiac surgery, I needed to do 5 of general surgery. So I only had 2. So I remember that when I was going from first to second year, the chairman of surgery, we have an interview with him, and he asked me, so what do you want to do, Jose? And I said, I want to be a general surgeon so I can become a cardiothoracic surgeon. And he said, well, but you only have 2 years contract. And I asked him, what do you need for me to do in order for me to get that spot? And he said, if you get more than 90 percentile in the in-service exam, in training in-service exam in general surgery, I will give you a position. That test is given to every surgery resident in the United States, everyone. And the way that it's rated is by percentile. So I took that test. The first year I scored 85, but he wanted me to score 90, above 90 percentile. So he thought that because, this guy comes from another country, you know, this foreigner, this accent, you know, whatever. He didn't realize that I could score, and I remember that was the biggest challenge in my life, in the sense of I minimized the amount of sleeping, resting. So I basically optimized what my brain could do for me. While all the other residents were sleeping, I was studying. And we're talking about a residency program that means everybody's exhausted. You know, it's like every third day on call. You probably see some of those movies, you know, about residents, and
They never sleep.
They never sleep. And
Yeah.
so everybody's taking naps everywhere, you know, whenever you can. And so I said, well, there's, you know,
While they're napping, you're
I'm gonna
studying.
study. And anyhow, the score came back, and I got a 98 percentile. What that means is that for every 100 second-year residents taking the test in the United States, I was scoring higher than 98 of them.
Which is amazing.
It gives me goosebumps.
I know, I
just
have them
like,
too. I'm like, I will
awesome.
never have that test or
So,
accomplishment for
so
that.
at that point, you know, they called me back to the office because I was packing to go back home. I was not even going to wait for the test because I was disappointed. I was already discouraged. And he called me to the office and he said to me, I said, do you know how much you score? I said, well, I know that I scored higher than 90. And he looked at me, how do you know that? I said, because I studied from a book, and he looked to me that they got that test from that book that I studied. And I read it, the whole thing. And I said, well, you got 98%. I never seen something like that. Nice. And then I told him, asked him, what are you going to do with me now? And I remember his face. I have to keep in the program. I never seen something like that. And that's how
Gotta keep ya.
That's how he understood me every time. That's how my accent disappeared. He could understand me all the time, and you know, and I was one of his boys after that.
How many years?
That was 5 years of general surgery, 1 year of research at the VA for vascular, 1 year of research at Harvard for oncology, general thoracic, 2 years of cardiac surgery at Ohio State, plus 1 year of heart and lung transplant at Ohio State.
And then total years now.
10 years. 10 years of training. That was just
10
training.
years of just the training.
Yeah.
You know, most people do it shorter, but because I didn't come with the spot for 5 years, I have to wait 1 year in the lab to activate my spot, and that's why it took longer.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we have so much more that we want to talk about. But do we want to go ahead and do a little bit of a celebration so that way during break we might be chowing down on some unhealthy goodies? So it's been a total of how many years that you have done, and was it 20 or something like
well,
that?
10 years for generous, 10 years of training. After that, almost 20 years of cardiac, as a cardiac surgeon.
So, because we do have more, because you've done other things that we are just so amazed about that we definitely want to talk about. And we are pumping up the heart today. Oh, yeah, we got to do this. We got to light these. I'm not really super good at this.
And we know your birthday is also right around the corner.
And you know, I'm totally doing this wrong.
Yes.
May 4. My birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's coming
It's
up.
coming up, yeah.
We love celebrating, don't we, Dee?
We do.
Okay, so we don't sing happy birthday.
We
'cause
don't
it's
sing
happy
happy birthday.
celebration. Happy celebration for doing what you do. We are going to do cheers with a cupcake.
Happy
That's
heart
about what I was.
held.
Happy heart held, and keep smiling. But we are going to be back. We have more to share.
Should we make wishes real fast?
Oh yeah, Dee with her
We should
unicorn.
make special
Special
wishes.
kinda day.
Special wishes.
We'll be back. You're watching What's Doing Good with T and D.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the high school football game of the week. I'm Jaron Stewart alongside Tim Shoemaker. Tonight, we've got a great one for you. The Blue Carroll Bulldogs.
It was a great week of practice. Even in the rain and the weather, we had a great week of practice.
Schneider, lots of running room to midfield. He's gone. Ryan Schneider down the near sideline for a touchdown for the Aces.
We have a hold on the offense, number 20,
That penalty will be declined. They'll bring up fourth down.
And we're going to give you this game ball here because you're a Tiberios fan of the game. And thanks for being here, Jacob.
Thank you.
The Polar Bears are your OAC tournament champions, first time since 2009. What an exciting finish for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears.
And be very proud of this trophy because you've earned it.
Hey guys, we're back. It's What's New and Good with T&D. We're here with Jose Norberto, and he shared a little bit about his dream of kind of learning how he got into the profession that he's in. And now we're going to learn a little bit about what inspires him. What, is it his clients? Is it your clients? What is your favorite part about what you do?
Well, I think that being a doctor is such a special career, it's such a special job, because it's the privilege to help somebody the way that we do. And in my case, in doing thoracic surgery, mostly hearts, somebody comes with a very difficult condition, with a real problem in the main engine, in the heart. And that's very scary. And they trust you. And once they go out of the recovery phase, once they go back to work, once they come back to see you with the families, and they're doing well, when they're back to the job, that's the most rewarding experience for us, when they come back to see us, and that they are back to the baseline. Obviously, it's a dangerous specialty. We're dealing with the heart, so some of those procedures are very dangerous, and there is a percentage of people that are not going to make it, unfortunately. But the most important thing that I have learned is always be there for, not just for the patient, but also for the family also. And once you do that, things are going to go well, regardless.
I would think as a surgeon that you have to be a really, of course, good listener to, of course, what their health needs are, but maybe beyond that also with the family. Were you always somebody that was a good listener, or did you have to learn that as you got older and became a surgeon?
I think that I have always been a good listener. I think that, because sometimes I have learned that you have to allow the person to talk. Sometimes you just jump into and trying to solve some problem that you can't. Sometimes the person just want to be listened. You can't have all the answers for everything. Sometimes somebody's very sad and you can't solve the problem. They just need somebody to listen, and that's it. And that's also very important in what we do.
And that can be applied in everyday life for people.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
We said he was an inspiration. We meant it. With that also, you have something else that you do. And you do a lot of things, though, actually. You play music. I know we could go into a whole show about that as well, with different instruments. But you also found a gift that you didn't really know that you had, right?
Yes. I was, like I said before, I used to be a good test taker, in class. But I hated to write. Whenever they say, the teacher say, okay, I want a paper written about this or that, I just didn't like to write. I just didn't feel that my ideas were flowing very well, that there were no beautiful, writing. And so I hated that part. But then, a few years ago, when I was going through a very difficult time in my life, some personal crisis, I went back to my roots in terms of my faith. I basically put God again in the middle of my, my life, where it's supposed to be, and I started to become more interested in what meant to be crucified. So I decided to investigate what meant for Jesus' body to go through the crucifixion. And I became so close to the topic and so fascinated by it that I said, you know what, this is really bad and people really need to know what exactly that meant. Because I was reading in medical terminology, but I wanted to bring that to the regular people to understand it. And I started giving lectures around town, different churches, during Lent and during Holy Week. And people were liking it. And somebody asked me, or somebody told me, Doctor, but you need to write a book about this. And that's how the whole thing started. And I'm like, oh, let me try. And what I started doing was simply trying to put my talk into the, into writing, to black and white. And then things started to click and getting faster, and the ideas started to get smoother and one after the other. And since then, I wrote the book called The Physical Death and Resurrection, which was came out 5 years ago, I think. And after that, I haven't stopped writing. Sometimes I get an idea and I write a little blog on Facebook. I have a lot of blogs that I write in Facebook and in the media, and I just haven't been able to stop. And the funny thing is that once an idea comes to my mind, I have to write about it. Otherwise, it will not go away. It will stay there until I put
it takes up space.
So I have to put it there, and then I publish it, and that's it.
Now it's said and done.
What did you learn the most about writing this book?
Well, one of the things is that I believe that each one of us have hidden gifts, things that we don't know that we have. Because I had no idea that I could write.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that the book was written in record time. And I was busy. I was in the hospital. I do a case. After I'm done with the case, if the patient is doing well, I go to my office, type quickly while I was still in the hospital. And, if I have an idea while I was driving, I would dictate it. And that was amazing to me that was happening and how fast it was coming. And one idea brought another idea. Like, for example, the initial part of this book, the basic, the reason for this was to write about what a crucifixion means. Mm-hmm. What means to be crucified. Right. But then I started writing, and then I decided, okay, I need to talk about the victim. Mm-hmm. So I say, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to see Jesus through my eyes as a doctor. How I will see if it comes to me, how I will see it. And I started to do that through the Bible. I was reading the Bible, trying to see how I will see that person. Mm-hmm. And then I investigated about his education. I investigated about just one thing was, something that I started with just describing a crucifixion. I ended writing about other things.
Yeah.
The most interesting part for me was not why I wrote it or the initial purpose of it. The most interesting part became with the resurrection, because I was not going to write about it.
Oh.
Because I was like, the resurrection is about faith. You either believe it or not. I was going to leave it there. Then I decided, no, let me just see what's going on. What other evidence is out there what other books talk about it? Mm-hmm. And I just started investigating. And that was the most fascinating part of the book, was about the resurrection, for me, at least from my perspective.
Anybody who is interested in finding more out about you, Dr. Jose Norberto, or the book, do you have Facebook, website, all of that?
Facebook. There's a page also in Facebook, which is Jose Norberto Books. That's in Facebook, in English and Spanish. If anybody want to practice the Spanish, they can look it up there. And then I have a website also that I'm not doing too much with that, but mostly Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great.
And the book is still available in Amazon.
So get on there, you Amazon people. I'm one of those. It's 2 days. Amazon Prime.
That's right. We want to thank you so much, Dr. Jose Norberto, for taking the time out of your busy schedule and being with us and sharing your inspiring story. You are such an inspiration, isn't he, Dee?
Well, thank you so much. For me, coming back to Lancaster and visit friends is also it's just a good gift for me. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Our pleasure. We have got an exciting event that's coming up mid-May that Dee and I are really excited about sharing with all of you single folks that are out there. You're going to want to find out what it is. We're going to be back here in just a few. You're watching What's New and Good with T.
Andy.
See you in a minute.
Soon.
Come experience the Huddle Tire difference. Locally owned and operated since 1910, we're your independent tire and auto repair shop. We carry all major brands of tires, including Goodyear, Cooper, BF Goodrich, and many more. But we're more than just tires. From safety inspections to alignments, brakes, shocks, and struts, even preventive maintenance, we can handle it all. Enjoy the ride at Huddle Tire Company, 300 South Columbus Street, or we can be reached at our website at huddletire.com.
Hey guys, it's What's New and Good with T&D. We are back, and maybe you didn't find out what your dream is yet in life, but hopefully after listening to Dr. Jose Norberto's story, maybe that's inspired you just a little bit to go after your dream, or maybe do something healthy for your heart, right?
You know what, Dee? I think that in order to follow your dream and get to your dream, you got to have a happy heart. Because all of the right things happen and they come into place as they need to in order for that dream to come true. I thought Dr. Norberto was so interesting when he was talking about how, writing, he never knew it was something that he was good at doing. And then bam, and it was there, and all of a sudden, and that happens to
it was sparked inside of him, and he listened to it.
Yeah.
He listened to it. And I think that's a huge thing, is that we're so rushed with life, we don't slow down enough to listen to it. And that's the same with our heart, right? Because you have to slow down in order to take care of this.
And use this.
And use this. And this.
And this. And always be happy. Choose happy for your heart. For that happy heart. And speaking of what do we have coming up in May?
Well, if your heart isn't all the way full, T&D, we are hosting a speed dating event, single speed dating event that will be May 18th at the Downtown Bistro. It is going to be off the chain.
That's right. So if you want a ticket, because we've got space for 20 guys and 20 gals, that you can come in, and it is, we're going to be decked out 80s. It's going to be a blast.
We will have live music will be after, and it's going to be, 7 to 9?
Yes, the speed dating event itself.
And people will come early, 6:30 to get registered, maybe grab a drink, mingle a little bit. It is just going to be so much fun. And you don't want to miss what this is going to be. Because we don't even know yet, but we're so excited about the hair crimping and all that other good stuff. You don't want to miss it.
That's right. So check out the tickets. You can always visit us on our Facebook page. And also keep following us. Thanks so much for watching What's New and Good with T.
Andy.
See ya!
See you soon.